powerful storm is moving across the U.S., putting several states under alert. The forecast even impacted the celebrations of Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Take a look at this apartment impacted by the winds in Texas, and this one taken in New Mexico after a family had zero visibility while driving. The severe weather will bring a threat of blizzard conditions, high winds, flash flooding, and even fire weather conditions. At New Orleans, several Mardi Gras celebrations were shortened or rescheduled. All right, joining us now is meteorologist Alana Cameron with Weather Nation. Alana, good to see you. March definitely coming in like a lion here. This wild weather impacting, as you mentioned, a large portion of the nation, including New Orleans, where that tornado risk was putting a bit of a damper on the Mardi Gras celebrations. What more can you tell us about what happened there?
Well, it looks like a lot of those storms as we get through the rest of the evening should be clearing places like the New Orleans metro, but a lot of those festivities were happening earlier in the day because of that line of thunderstorms, a very powerful line of storms moving its way across the country in a really wide coverage area that's under this risk for severe weather. Will continue for the rest of today for Mardi Gras, and then it's going to continue to shift its way east to a very populated corridor for Wednesday. Here's the risk from the Storm Prediction Center, and notice this area highlighted in orange. It's an enhanced risk. It's a level 3 out of 5 threat for severe thunderstorms, and that's going to include a pretty populated corridor, the I-95 corridor up and down the Carolinas and in towards Virginia. But this doesn't stop there. It extends up and towards areas like Washington, D.C., and all the way down through Savannah and Jacksonville. So that's tomorrow's tornado potential. There's also the risk for these significant damaging winds, where we could get wind gusts across these areas from Norfolk through Wilmington all the way down through Charleston that could get up to 75 miles per hour. So it's a big squall line that's going to work its way through. And just look at this system. You can see snow on the west side of this. Those blizzard-like conditions will be moving through. But this line of thunderstorms is not going to quit into the overnight hours. It's going to keep progressing its way east. Now we're getting into early Wednesday morning, influencing the Appalachian Mountains all the way down through the Gulf Coast. And then the timeline of this for areas along I-95, it's going to be a little bit later into the morning hours and then through the afternoon, evening. So you can see that frontal system just keeps pushing these thunderstorms off to the east, and then we should be clearing things out. So if you're in Baltimore or Washington, the timeline right now looks like the early afternoon. This line of thunderstorms could move through. So Baltimore, based on this, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're expecting these storms. And then once the front moves through, the severe weather hazard should come to an end. Another look at another area here, Raleigh-Durham is expecting those storms by the late morning time frame. Same system, damaging winds, tornadoes possible, and even some embedded hail. Now, it's a fast-moving system, so the flooding risk is a little bit on the lower end across these areas, but it's going to be a big one to watch, and we'll continue to monitor the development of this system, but it should be cleared from the East Coast as early as Wednesday. Back to you.
And you also mentioned the Carolinas there, and they were battling wildfires as well. What's the latest on that?
Well, it does look like, especially because we have some burn scar out there, we've had about a 30% containment over those South Carolina wildfires. But because of the burn scar, there's a little bit more of that element of flash flooding. So if you've lived in an area where we've had wildfires, well, this will bring an end to the really dry conditions, but it does bring in that increased threat for flash flooding.
Alana, almost out of time. I want to ask you this. It seems like this is, we mentioned a triple threat, really some crazy March weather here. How unusual is this weather pattern, and what's behind it?
Well, for this time of year in March, it's pretty common for us to get these big storm systems, especially with blizzard conditions on the cold side and severe thunderstorms. It's really kicking off severe weather season, so not completely uncommon for this time of year.
Okay, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you.